On November 23rd, the government released Volume 2 of the 4th National Climate Assessment. Last week, we talked about the history behind this congressionally mandated report, and today we will look at some of the findings. Volume 2 of the assessment was a collaborative effort by 300 leading scientists from the government, academia, and the private sector. It's entitled Impacts, Risks, and Adaptation in the United States. The report breaks down 16 chapters on national interests, 10 chapters on specific regions, and 2 chapters on the responses. The first sentence of the assessment states, Earth's climate is now changing faster than at any point in the history of modern civilization, primarily as a result of human activities. Now, from 1901 through 2016, the Earth's average temperature has increased by 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit, and evidence is increasing that human-induced activities are playing a role. The report shows that this warming is expected to continue. However, if we reduce our greenhouse gas footprint, this can be limited, but big emission cuts are needed between now and the middle of the century. The report also states that the world's oceans have absorbed 93% of the excess heat since the mid-20th century. This has made the oceans warmer and more acidic. Now, sea level is also on the rise. The global average sea level has risen 7 to 8 inches since 1901, and almost half of that has occurred since 1993. This rise is due to warming oceans and land-based ice melt. The prediction of sea level rise for this century alone is 1 to 4 feet, and that has implications for coastal flooding, which was another key point in the report. The frequency of high tide flooding has had a noticeable increase for many coastal communities since 1960, and the trend is expected to continue in the future. New development in the flood risk area totals over $8.3 billion in potential damages, with the 3 highest risk states being New Jersey, North Carolina, and Florida. Since the beginning of last century, precipitation patterns have been changing. Increased precipitation in the northern and eastern states while decreasing across much of the south and west, and more notably so out west, there has been a decline in the western snowpack throughout the past few decades. Rapid changes in the Arctic have also been reported. The annual average temperatures have increased more than twice as fast in the Arctic compared to the global average, aiding in thawing permafrost and melting sea ice. If emissions are not curbed, it is possible that nearly all late summer sea ice in the Arctic may be gone by 2050. Some changes in weather are also being noticed. Northern Hemisphere winter storm tracks have shifted northward since 1950, and there's been an increase in Atlantic hurricane activity since 1970. Hurricane rainfall and intensity are projected to increase going forward. If you'd like to take a look at the report, it's available to you in its entirety at nca2018.globalchange.gov. Next week, we'll bring you part 3 of the series on NCA4, which states the key messages the report found for the Northeast region, including Pennsylvania. We'll be right back.